screaming heavy metal! We rock!
But the evil that men do lives on.
We gonna bang your head!
You are now listening to the Music Mania podcast, a hard-hitting show featuring all things hard rock and heavy metal. And now here are your hosts, the Twins of Chaos, Clint Switzer and Paul Lagana.
All right, Brad Gillis, guitarist from Night Ranger, welcome to the Music Mania podcast. How is everything going with you, my man?
Oh, I gotta tell you, Clint, couldn't be much better. If I was more happier, I'd be twins. I'm a Gemini, so I guess I am.
Well, that's the best intro we've ever had here on the show, Brad. Excellent to hear from you. Glad things are going well. And we're talking, we're just a few days out here from the release of the new album, which is Don't Let Up. It's so good. I just want to kind of get your thoughts on what the reception. I know it's only been on a few days. It came out on the 24th. But what's the reception been like? I got to say, I'm a big fan of it. What have you been hearing so far?
Well, I got to tell you, even before the release, there was, all the interviewers were getting a advanced copy. I got to tell you, Clint, in the last 3 weeks, I've probably done 50 interviews with radio stations, web stuff, magazines. It's just amazing what's going on right now. And we found out on Tuesday we hit #1 on the Amazon bestseller hard rock list. Which, wow, we haven't charted anything like that since the 80s, so I don't know what's happening, but I'm digging it.
Well, what do you think that says about not only a band like Night Ranger, but the genre of music? You guys have always been such just a straight-up American hard rock band, and here we are in 2017, and you guys are having this success. What do you think that says about your genre of music, about your era, that it's still able to come out here, still people are still buying it, whether it be physically or digitally? However people are getting it, they're sure getting it, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's just good feeling music, that whole decade of decadence in the 80s when all the, bands coming out, the Def Leppards and Journeys and Night Rangers, putting out hit songs, and that made people feel good, and there's been a lull in good classic melodic rock and roll lately, and I think we got a good one here. We took our time on writing the songs, wanted to make sure, every song had value and listenable pleasure to it, and all the reviews we're hearing, it's like, hey man, this is the album that you could hear all the way through and not want to skip a song, which I think is kind of cool. So we're just kind of, relishing the love from everybody, and we're got big shows coming up and heading out, and touring all over the country, heading to Japan, and just having a blast doing this, I mean, who would have thunk it 35 years later that, Night Ranger's going to be together touring and releasing records.
Well, that's what it's all about. You guys are, celebrating your 35th anniversary. Not that anyone's counting, but hey, absolutely, things going great. And this is a follow-up to the album High Road, which I thought was excellent. That came out in 2014. But just talk about some of the songs on Don't Let Up that kind of people are raving out. To me, my two favorite songs right now are Truth and Somehow, Some Way. I'm sure you're hearing those a lot. Keep hearing those pop up. Those are just like, they have such the classic Night Ranger kind of, melodic rock sound, but then also Running Out of Time. It's really up tempo, maybe even, dare I say, heavy. I mean, there's some really good songs on this album, Brad.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Truth, Clint, and that's my favorite song on the record. I think Jack hit it out of the park on that one. Just the whole feel and vibe of it, a little different for the band, but it's got this thing. When songs have that thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a normal sounding, rock song, powering through chords, but sometimes they just, you hit it on the head, and you know that you've got something good. And to hear it from a reviewer like you, that you're digging, Truth and Somehow, Some Way, I mean, those are my favorite songs too. And I'm just looking forward to finding a time when we get together and actually start rehearsing these songs and playing them in set.
Well, absolutely. And you talked about the tour. It really kicks off April 15th, so just coming up here in a couple weeks. I mean, it's got to feel good to go out here and not only play the classic songs that everyone knows from Night Ranger, Don't Tell Me You Love Me, Sister Christian, all these songs that you guys have, but to go out and play, these songs from this new album. And I think that's kind of a lost art. People, what say what you want about 80s bands, whatever. You can't call Night Ranger a nostalgic act. You guys are out here playing these new songs. That's what's great. Just mixing it up, and I know people are going to want to hear these these new songs in the set.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get them together by the 15th. But we're kind of learning them at home to get together and try to, do a sound check and pop a couple on the show. We'll see what happens. But, we've been real busy lately with interviews and still touring. Just spent a week in Florida doing 5 shows. And there's never a dull moment, man. I mean, and then I get home here and I do a lot of TV music that I work on during the week. And, being the kind of a weekend warrior type band, we're heading out in the weekend doing our shows. And, back home working on some more TV music. So I got a full dance card. I love it. And just the excitement of this new record is just a little icing on the cake.
Well, I want to talk to you about your fellow guitarist, your second guitarist. It's Kerry Kelly. Now, I was always a big fan of Joel Hoekstra as a part of the band. He's a Music Mania podcast alum. We just talked to him a few months ago. He's out with Whitesnake currently, but Kerry's a guy that's been around. Man, I've seen him with Alice Cooper. He's been around. He's done a lot of great things. He seems like a great fit in this band. What's it like sharing guitar duties with Kerry?
Well, you got to realize when you get somebody new in the band, they not only got to play great and be able to play the classic solos, but they got to have a good demeanor. They got to be a fun person to hang out with. So Kerry is that guy. I've never seen him in a bad mood. Always smiling, always laughing and joking, and that's what keeps this band moving. We joke around, we have fun. We keep everybody's ego in check, and you gotta have that when you're touring all the time. And you got to make sure that anybody who higher in the band's going to mesh and be part of the fun. And right now, this machine's kicking butt, and we're digging everything going on. To be able to do a new CD, it's just amazing to me after 35 years. But, Frontiers Records out of Italy, who signed us, gave us a nice big budget to do this record. And, that's just the kind of guys that Jack and Kelly and I are, we're always creating, new music and have great ideas to slam out with each other to pop on records. So it turned out real good for us. We were going to try to finish this earlier last year, but with our touring schedule, we just couldn't get together and finish this record, and we wanted to release it around the holidays last year. But I'm kind of glad it's out now because it's starting to gain momentum, and it could be that, a summertime fun record that you slam in your car with your windows down when you're heading to somebody's house for a party or somewhere fun, that back like they did in the 80s, It's summertime fun kind of record.
I agree with that. I've always thought of Night Ranger as one of those bands in the vein of a Van Halen, someone that just kind of takes you back. I mean, you can't hear Sister Christian, you can't hear Don't Tell Me You Love Me, you can't hear You Still Rockin' America without just the memories all coming back. And I want to go back to that. You guys formed originally as Stereo, but became Ranger 1982. How did things change for this band drastically? Because you might have put out one of the best 1, 2, 3 punch records, maybe in rock history, with Dawn Patrol, Midnight Madness, and 7 Wishes. Just talk about how things changed for the band from 1982 until about 1987, where things got so big in the meantime.
Well, things have changed. I mean, it was pretty exciting those first 3 records because we were just on top of the world and we were touring 9 months out of the year, and those other 3 months we were going in and doing another record. But just the excitement of MTV coming out and playing the crap of our videos because they didn't have enough content to fill their 24/7 roster programming, so they were all over us. That was exciting. And then, right out of Aussie, touring and opening for all these great bands, it's so exciting for me. And then, we ended up, going and doing the second record, Midnight Madness, and then, we released Still Rockin' America. Of course, MTV picked up on that all over that. And then next thing you know, the record company says, "Hey, Sister Christian, it's doing great. Big hit on the radio. It's about time you guys start headlining." So I'll never forget. It was late '83, early '84 when it was pulling into La Crosse, Wisconsin, to that Coliseum there, and looking up at the marquee and said, "Tonight, Night Ranger sold out, like 8,000 people." I was like, wow, that started our ride.
That's unbelievable, and it's just wonderful to be able to go catch you guys. And you guys got a bunch of dates coming up. Again, they start April 15th in Waterloo, New York. And you guys got a bunch of different shows. You got some festivals. You got, I think, some shows with maybe Steve Miller Band coming up. I mean, it's just kind of all over the map here, isn't it, this summer?
Yeah, it's kind of fun because my hometown here in the San Francisco Bay Area is the big venue is the Shoreline Amphitheater.
Yep.
And that will be, that Steve Miller, Peter Frampton, and Night Ranger. That'll be fun. Then we're playing with Boston in Las Vegas here coming up soon. We've got a Pat Benatar show, and we're playing Sturgis with Rat. I mean, all the big festivals we do, and we got it going on this year, like every year. And we try not to tour too much, and but we do pick the choice gigs.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the band. You guys are going to be here in Missouri, and I want to definitely talk about that show. It's in Jefferson City, Missouri, September 23rd. Definitely, that's a Friday night, and we got a Mizzou football game the next day in Columbia. This is going to be a big weekend for me as a sports and 80s rock fan. This is going to be great. So I'm excited for that one coming up in Missouri. I want everyone to go to nightranger.com. You can see how you can get tickets to all these shows. And I want to get into this because you're, Brad, not to toot your horn too much here on the Music Mania podcast, always been one of my favorite guitarists, and I think underrated for things you've done. A lot of people don't realize maybe that you played with Ozzy Osbourne, that you did all these things, and I've always been so curious about the recording of the hearing aid sessions that you were a part of to help raise money for famine relief in Africa. So many great players, so many great musicians a part of that, and of course it's coming up on the 7-year anniversary of Ronnie James Dio's death. He was very instrumental in that. Just kind of take us back to the hearing aid and the recording of the song Stars, and how that still is lasting 32 years later.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm still signing albums from Stars that people bring on the road and get backstage for the meet and greets, and so that's cool. I'm signing a lot of Speak of the Devil records when I play with Ozzy, the live Black Sabbath stuff, and so, as far as the recording process, back in the 80s, we'd pack up, go down to LA and spend like 2-3 months in the studio banging the stuff out at, $1,000 to $1,500 a day, and it's costing a lot of money to do records. This day and age, everybody's got their own home studio, and basically for the last couple of records, we get together with the nucleus of the band, which is Jack, Kelly, and I, and we start slamming down ideas, just kind of coming up with these great riffs and melodic chorus ideas, and so we could, record those, then we kind of branched off to everybody else's home studio and finished it off. I had Jack and Terry over here do stuff at my house, stuff at Jack's up in Washington State, and then I had Terry over here at the end of the record to do harmony solos and individual solos. So it was just a lot of fun, no pressure, not costing us any money, no hurry, and that's the way you need to do it these days, then you really get the best out of everybody instead of being thrown into the studio. It's like, all right, you got a half hour to do a guitar solo. It's like, what?
Well, I want to ask you about your you kind of your technique, your style, and because we've talked to so many guitarists here, and all of which came about the instrument so many different ways. We had someone like Chris Broderick formerly of Megadeth on, who talked about how he was very classically trained and he reads music. And then you think about someone like Ace Frehley from Kiss, who doesn't read music, who he just picked up a guitar, and it's more style over substance, maybe for someone like that. I would like to get your thoughts on that, just kind of how you came about the instrument and what your way of learning and your the way you still keep yourself going here today.
Well, I was lucky enough to receive my first guitar on my 8th birthday, and that's when the Beatles came out. Got me all excited. My dad said, "I'll buy you this guitar if you take lessons." And I thought, okay, cool. So he got me that this K Vanguard 2, and started jamming on that and taking lessons. But guy that was teaching me, this old guy was teaching me like Mary Had a Little Lamb and all of a sudden I wanted to rock, Twisted Sister video. I want to rock. And, so my brother being 7 years older than me and hanging out with a bunch of musicians, he had all the latest records, So in 1969, 1970, when I was 12, 13 years old, I was learning, the Led Zeppelin 1 from the Santana, from the Big Brother and the Holding Company, and the Doors, and all this great stuff, the Rolling Stones, and, all this great music that came out. And I just, he'd go out at night, and I'd just sit there and play his records and jam along to it. And I just learned to play by ear. And my brother's friend who came over, who was a guitar player, said, "Brad, listen to the radio, man. Turn on the radio. You know all the chords. You just, figure out in your ear, find out where the one is, where the main chords of the song, what key it's in, start jamming along with it. You'll figure out different rhythm techniques, and you'll be able to learn by ear." And that's what I did. So I quit my lessons and just started, playing the radio and playing my brother's records all the time. I just learned so much from it. And then I had buddies that were older than me, that would teach me stuff and lead guitar and different, Jimmy Page licks from Led Zeppelin, and then I started to get it, man. I thought, wow, this is a lot of fun. But I remember, I'll never forget playing my 5th grade talent show, playing Gloria, Giallo, all right,
yes,
right? And
yes,
playing it and singing it, and when I got done with the song, all the girls in the audience started screaming and jumping up and down. Well, they took me back. Like, whoa, jeez. I thought, well, this is cool.
Absolutely.
I could do this. I could do this forever.
Yeah, and you have. So it's been perfect. It's worked out well, to say the least. Brad, I tell you what, I know you've done a lot of interviews. I know you guys are busy. I just can't thank you enough for joining us. You've been very kind with your time, guys. The album is Don't Let Up. You can get it on nightranger.com, and there's all the ways to get it: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. It's all there. And I think if you buy a physical copy, it comes with a DVD too. So hey, here's to physical music. Let's get something extra out. That's good.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it, and all the press that's been going on with everybody doing interviews, and just the excitement, and people like you saying, they love certain songs, and it's just fun for us, that whole process of waiting 3 months after you deliver the record, waiting for it to come out is the toughest 3 months you could have. It's like, you put all this effort into creating a product, and you want people to listen to it, but now, it came out last Friday, and it's kicking, and we're loving it.
Well, it couldn't happen to a better and more hardworking band, a band that's been around so long, and provided so many wonderful memories for so many people. And guys, go relive all that. Go check the band out on the road this summer. Nightranger.com, all the dates. Brad Gillis, thank you so much for joining us here on the Music Mania podcast. Best of luck to you out there, and we'll we hope to come up and maybe catch up with you and say hello at the Jefferson City, Missouri show on the 23rd. Man, let's make that happen.
You got it, Clint, man. My pleasure. Thanks for having me, and the excitement's just starting to happen, man. So looking forward to playing everywhere we can, and hitting Japan, and all the other fun gigs we're doing. So hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
You betcha. Take care.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.